Hey YouTube, it's your girl Always Nigeria coming at you today with another video. So for those of you who've recently subscribed, thank you so much for subscribing. For those of you who are new to my channel, welcome. Go ahead and like, subscribe, comment, and share, and hit that bell so you'll be notified when I do upload new content. So this video is going to be a little different. It is it's a little touchy, it's a little sensitive, for myself included. So any negative comments, you can leave those where they at. Leave them at the door, check it at the gate, get up out of here with that. I ain't trying to hear it, I'm not trying to read it, because this is something that is near and dear, and it's a touchy situation. This is involving someone's loved one. So if you have something negative to say, you can leave it to yourself. I'm not going to indulge in the negativity, so I won't comment back. I won't even block you. I'll just let you have your moment and I'll move past it. So with that being said, recently my son got diagnosed with autism, and I know that not a lot of people are informed of what autism is, and so therefore I want to inform people. Now, I am not by any means a professional. I am not by any means all that well informed myself. I can only inform you of what I've been informed, and hope that it raises awareness, or hope that you'll see signs and you'll get help for your child. Okay, so I'll go ahead and read the definition of the autism spectrum disorder, and then I'll let you in on my personal experience and things of that nature. So, there are signs and things of that. I'm not going to read the signs. I'm going to tell you what I noticed, and then we'll go from there. Okay, so what is autism and autism spectrum disorder? Autism spectrum disorder is a developmental disorder that affects communication and behavior. Although autism can be diagnosed at any age, it is said to be a developmental disorder because symptoms generally appear in the first 2 years of life. What is verbal autism? Autism spectrum disorder, or ASD, is a complex neurobiological disorder characterized by difficulty communicating verbally and relating socially to others, alongside a need to engage in repetitive behaviors and language. Okay, so with that being said, my son, my oldest son, my firstborn, he'll be 5 in April, and recently he was diagnosed with autism a few weeks ago, actually. And you know, that's something I was dealing with by myself for about a week. I didn't really tell anyone because it took me a second to process. You know, I don't want him to be looked at differently, and you know, things of that nature. Or I didn't want someone else to be like, oh, you know, something wrong with your child, and you know, things of that nature. So the protective mother in me wanted to protect my son, and so I didn't want to express it to a lot of people. But now that I've come to terms with it, of course I'm going to do everything that I can to, you know, inform others as I'm being informed, because I am by no means a professional. I am by no means you know, all that informed myself. All I can do is inform people as I'm being informed, as this is new for me as well. And of course, with this being new for me, this is new for my son. So, well, he's been living with it his whole life, but just diagnosed with it. And so what I noticed, and I had noticed this when he was maybe 1, you know, and I brought this up to his doctor, but of course, you know, I kept being told, oh, it's a speech delay. He'll grow out of it. You know, when he gets older, he'll grow out of it. We'll just monitor it. And I kept being told that. So when my son was 1, he stopped babbling. He used to say mama and things of that nature, and then he kind of stopped. And that was kind of a red flag for me, because I was, expecting for him to progress. Like I said, this was my first child, so I really didn't know what to look for. But I just knew that, he should be talking a little bit more, or at least babbling still. And with him regressing and babbling, I brought that up to his pediatrician when we went to his doctor's appointment, and you have to fill out those forms of, the milestones and things like that. He was hitting all the other milestones cognitively, but his verbal, he just wasn't getting, it had completely regressed. He still smiled and things like that. He seemed like he wanted to talk, but he didn't. And like I said, I brought that up, and I kept being just pushed off. Oh, it'll get better. Oh, we'll just monitor it. That was at 2 years old. I'm still being told the same thing, because he was picking up a little bit of vocabulary, but nowhere near what he was supposed to be picking up. And then with me being a young mom, I feel like they were kind of just brushing me off, as that I was just worrying and things like that. But as a mom, you kind of know. So that was 2. 3, still being told the same thing. However, I did start taking steps to increase his vocabulary. I did put him in like a daycare that had a learning program as well. So, he was getting the required education that he needed. And then also at home, I created him and my other son, my second oldest, a learning facility learning center to where I was practicing teaching him how to write, trying to teach him his colors, trying to teach their numbers and things of that nature. And like I said, he verbally wasn't picking it up. He couldn't seem to communicate to me what it was that I was trying to get him to say. My other son is younger than him. He's 16 months younger, and he has a pretty good vocabulary. I mean, yeah, he says things that he probably shouldn't be saying. But his vocabulary it's better, than my older son's. So with Amari, I kept noticing that he was repeating me, instead of answering my questions. When I asked him something, he will repeat what I'm saying. So for example, if I say, Amari, would you like something to drink? He'd just look at me with a blank stare, and I'd say it again, and he'll be like, something to drink? Then I'm like, say yes. He'll go, say yes. And I'm like, no, you say yes. And he'd be like, you say yes. So I ended up signing him up to take speech therapy. And there he was diagnosed with echolalia. And I wasn't told that was a indicator, or one of the indicators of autism. I just was told that he had echolalia, and I did my research on that, and it's just, how they learn to vocalize or verbalize what you're saying. They kind of just repeat after you. And eventually they'll start using that vocabulary, hopefully on their own. And so we did that for a little while, and I just didn't feel like it was going anywhere, because his sessions were only 30 minutes once or twice a week, and I felt like that just wasn't enough. And I was tired of taking him to school just to pick him up from school during the middle of the day, to take him there for 30 minutes and then take him back to school, because he still had to finish, out the school day along with my other son. So it just became too much. So I took him out of speech therapy and just let him spend the entire day at school from 8 to 3 or 8 to 4, whatever. And he started to flourish a little bit more, just being around the other kids. But then I started to work there. And, I could see that he didn't socialize as much as I thought that he should. He would play with certain kids, but other kids he literally wanted nothing to do with. He would stay away. Or he would just play with puzzles, or, do his own thing. He might play with the other kids for a few minutes, and then he would go off and just play by himself. And I just looked at it like, oh, he's just like a little old man. He likes to be left alone and do his own thing. Like, he literally is mature. When my other son is playing too much, he kind of gets annoyed, like, okay, sit down, or he'll go close the door on him, like, get up out of here, bro, you playing too much, you know, like, he's a little bit more mature. So that's just what I took it as, like, oh, he's not socially awkward, he just doesn't like to be bothered, you know. But that is a sign of autism, is social awkwardness, or, you know, being an introvert, or only playing with someone for a few minutes and then wanting to do their own thing, or playing around them or other kids in the same area but not really engaging with what they're doing, just doing your own thing but you're still in the midst of what they're doing. That is a indicator. So I was tired of kind of getting blown off by his pediatrician. So when I had my daughter, I decided I'm going to switch my boys to where my daughter goes. You know, this is a new, a different physician, different facility, things of that nature. So when I took them for their physical, I brought it up to the new physician. And, you know, at first she kept, you know, looking, and she was like, well, maybe he doesn't have it. It might just be a speech delay. Once again, I'm hearing, oh, it might be just a speech delay. This, that, and the third. But, like, literally, I started to tear up because I felt like my son was just being blown off. And at this point, I was kind of just getting tired. So, like, literally, I started tearing up. I'm like, I really want some help here. Like, I am young, but I see something, and I want my child to have the best life. I don't want him to be passed through school, because he's very smart. Don't get me wrong. Very smart. Cognitively, things of that nature, amazing. He can write, he can draw, he can do things of that nature. But, you know, as a parent, you can just kind of tell when your child needs more help. Like, he would learn, but he would learn from me singing songs. So how he learns his shapes is, you know, I had to sing a song like square, heart, triangle, circle, star, rectangle. And then if I had him draw it, you know, like trace what I drew, then I'd be like, point to, you know, the shape on the wall that you just drew. And then he'd sing the song as he's pointing the shapes. And then he'd stop finally when he heard the word that I said was the shape on the paper. So, like, for him learning, he learns better with songs. So I just knew, like, for me to have to do all that extra stuff, that he just needed a little bit more help. And I wanted his physician to recommend someone. And if he needed testing for anything, I wanted him to get that. So that was January 29th when he went for his physical. And, you know, like, I kind of basically had to beg her to give me a referral. And so she did, and I finally was able to get him an appointment, and his appointment was February 18th. And I took him, and, you know, it was like a 4-hour meeting or evaluation with him and this, like, I don't know if she's a therapist, or I'm really not sure what her title is, but it was an autism evaluation. It was 4 hours long, where she ran a battery of tests, and I watched. You know, sometimes I would intervene, and when I intervened, then he would do better. But if I just sat back and watched, he didn't do as well. And I know that's probably because I'm his mom. You know, he felt more comfortable when I was there intervening than he did with this perfect stranger just asking him to do a bunch of stuff. So, eventually, she told me that, you know, she did see that he was on the spectrum, or believe that he was on the spectrum due to things that I had named and things that she had mentioned or she had seen from the meeting. Such as, she asked me, does he maintain eye contact? And he really does not. He doesn't get the verbal cues or the facial frustration, or if he's in trouble, he really doesn't get it. So, like, he'll be looking at you with a blank stare. If you're like, Amari, you weren't supposed to do that. Why'd you do that? He's just looking at you like, yep. Or he'll smile or something like that, and you're like, no, baby, you're in trouble. You're not supposed to be smiling. Like, right now, it's not a happy moment, you know. But he didn't get that, and that's another thing that they don't really grasp, facial expressions and things of that nature. He does, on the other hand, know how to express himself when he's frustrated or when he's angry. He does, you know, he can, you know, so-called tell you off in his, like, babbling. He's like, you know, but, so he does have that, ability to show emotion, but, like, he doesn't grasp it as fast when someone is showing him emotion. So, you know, if he can tell if someone's raising their voice or they get frustrated with him, then he gets frustrated, he cries. And, you know, that, of course, makes me sad because I'm just like, God, I just want you to get it. I don't want you to be sad or frustrated. Like, you know, it's hard because you're watching your child and you're wanting them to understand. And then you're also wanting other people to understand. Like I said, this is new for me, but it's not new for me as his mom. You know, like I could tell that he needed more help. And so when other people were like, you know, would get frustrated or they'd be more demanding, I'm just like, chill. You know what I'm saying? Like, he'll get there. And I'm not gonna lie, sometimes I thought he was just being stubborn because he's so smart. Like, how are you this smart? I just honestly, I'm just like, bro, you're so smart. What is going on here? Like, if I'm telling you to do something and you just don't do it, I'm thinking you're being stubborn. But I had to be informed that it's not him being stubborn. It's taking him those extra minutes to grasp what I've said and to speak in a slower tone, and also to use less words. And, you know, I had to be informed that because I didn't know. You know, because like I said, he's so smart. He's been tying his shoes since he was 2. He was walking, of course, since he was walking at 9 months, tying his shoes since 2, getting dressed and things of that nature. Only thing that was stumping me and making me know that he needed more help, that I kept advocating for and just kept getting told by professionals that he just had a speech delay. And so I just kept letting it ride, even though I kept asking for more help. Was just his verbal. That's the only thing. And like, when you can't verbalize something, you get frustrated. So like, my baby would get frustrated because he couldn't express what it was that he wanted. Like, even saying something as simple as, Mom, can you come help me with this? He can't express it. You know, like, he'll bring me something and then I'll show him how to do it one time. He'll get it. And once he gets it, he snatches it away and he goes and does his own thing. But now he is getting more language. So like, he can say, you know, like when he wants breakfast or something like that, he's like, hey, cereal. Like, he doesn't say, Mom, I want cereal. He'll just point like cereal. And so I know that he wants cereal. Or he'll bring me a cup and go juice. And so I know he wants juice. Or like, if he wants pizza, he's like, pizza. But he doesn't say pizza with a P. He says it entirely with a Z. So it's Ziza. And you just know that's what he wants. But even the fact that he's now learning the different names for foods, I'm happy. Because he couldn't do that for a while. And so, yeah, I'm happy that he's starting to learn vocabulary. And then also, I noticed with him that he knew more vocabulary than I originally thought. Because, like, if it's time for him and his brother to eat, he'll be telling his brother what to do. He's like, Aiden, sit down and eat your food. Or, Aiden, come here now, sit down. Or, you know, stop doing that. Or be quiet. Or this and that. So he knows things, but it's mostly he's speaking as if he were me. You know, like, so that's things that I say to my son that he's heard me say so many times, that he knows what, you know, his brother is supposed to be doing. So he's just kind of repeating what he's heard me say so much. And I would like for him to be able to express himself by himself. So, yeah. This video is getting a little longer than I wanted it to be, but I will be posting more videos with updates and things of that nature. But really quick, things that you should look out for if you do detect that your child needs more help, and you should definitely advocate, because if you are not advocating for your kid, no one will. You're their voice. And so that's why I kept advocating, and then I just kept getting blown off. But this time around, I wasn't having it. Like, I need your help. And thank God his physician finally helps me. This is a new physician, like I said, a new practice, everything. Well, she's not new, she's older, she's an older lady, but I just thank God that finally someone took me serious. And so with that being said, if there's a delay in speech, if by the age of 1 they're not babbling, or by the age of 2 they can't form like 2-word sentences, and maybe they're not walking, or It's hard to potty train them. Those are all symptoms. Like my son is potty trained and things of that nature, but those are signs that you need further evaluation. If they're just not getting it, don't get frustrated with them. Try to explain it in a different way. If they still don't get it, seek some help. See a professional. See if they can help. If not, then maybe they do need some type of testing. There's this good site called MCAT, M-C-A-T. You can go on there. It's like a little checklist to see if you need help. And if you need help, don't be afraid to ask. You have to advocate for your child. It's best to do it while they're young so that you can get them some type of help so that when they get older, they'll have that help. My son is on the lower end of the spectrum, so he is higher functioning, but nonetheless, he has autism. And that's something I have to get used to because I'm not used to saying that. It's not embarrassing. It's more wanting to protect him even more now, like wanting to shield him because, you know, kids at school are mean. He's about to go to kindergarten. So, you know, it's just meeting after meeting now. I have tons of appointments for him now. There's therapy that he has to go to, and all type of things. So it's like it went from no help to now all of a sudden everything's been tossed at me, and you know, it's just like I'm kind of by myself getting him to all these appointments. And mind you, I have other children, and so it's kind of overwhelming, especially with me being in school full time. I do I thank God for the support system that I do have, and you'll definitely need a support system because when I tell you all of a sudden my son has like so many appointments, it's kind of like it's overwhelming. But other things you can look out for, my son doesn't do the flapping, but that's a big indicator. Self-mutilation, self-harm, not being able to calm themselves down, not wanting to play with other kids, or not using eye contact, not understanding verbal cues or physical cues or things of that nature. Like I said, I'll go into further details about my son, but I don't want this video to get too long. But the biggest cues with him was just his verbal. He was just very non-verbal, like, and he gets frustrated when you don't understand him, even though he's not saying anything. He's just like, I don't understand that. So now it's just my biggest challenge is going to be finding ways for me to help my son communicate better so that he's not frustrated. Even though he is starting to gain vocabulary, he's nowhere near where he needs to be for almost 5. And so that's going to be a very big challenge, but I'm up for it. That's my child. I love him. And I'm going to do everything that I can. I want you guys to be informed and do everything that you can. So if you think that your child needs help, get help. Don't put it off any longer. Don't say, oh, they'll grow out of it, because that's what I kept being told. And now all of a sudden at almost 5, my child's being diagnosed with autism. If he was diagnosed earlier, he would have been in therapy earlier. So it's just like, you know, don't let them tell you. You're the parent. You're in that household with that child. And so you know if your child needs more help. No, they're not stupid. They just learn differently. And so you have to bend your way of teaching so that they'll understand, you'll understand, and no one's frustrated. Yeah, and like I said, other kids are mean, so you do want to make it as easy as possible on your child. Other adults may not understand, and they may be frustrated or may be mean. And I honestly, I'll inform them, but if someone doesn't accept my child, or I feel like they're demeaning him or getting frustrated too much with him, I'm going to remove my kid, because I'm the mom, you know, and that's my child. I'm going to protect any of my kids from anything, any of these big bad wolves out here, you know. So just get a support system, because you'll need it. You'll definitely need it. It's not easy, and I'm just now being a mom, knowing that my son has autism. So I can only imagine for those who have been going through this for years and whose children are on the higher end of the spectrum. I can just imagine, and my heart goes out. And that's for anyone whose child has a disability or anything like that, learning disability, physical disability, anything like that. So my heart definitely goes out to them. Like I said, now I'm involved in them. My child has a learning disability. He's very, very intelligent, but he can't talk, can't verbalize, you know. So have to get that together. I have to work on that with him. Yeah, so I'm going to give more videos and more content regarding this, following his journey, updating you guys, and just overall working with my child and getting him better. And I hope that you guys are taking something from this video. I wasn't going to make a video about it, but I feel like I should, because there's other young parents out here who are being pushed off. And I'm not even that young. I'm about to be 30. But whatever. Being pushed off. And you have to fight for your kids. You have to advocate for them. The older they get, the harder it'll be to help them. So you want to do it while they're younger, because the mind is more flexible and able to retain content better, able to learn better. So the younger the better. The younger the better. So if you notice something, don't be in denial. Don't think anyone's going to judge you. And if they do, so what? Get away from them and their negativity and do what you have to do for your child. Because at the end of the day, your child is relying on you, especially if they have autism. And with autism, it's like they're your heart, but they're your heart and you're their voice. And you just have to take it as that. I'm my son's voice. I'm all three of my son's voice. I'm my daughter's voice. The only one of my children who has autism is my oldest child. But guess what? I love all my kids the same. He needs a little bit more help. So, he's going to get that help. I do love the fact that my kids have a great bond. Now, you don't see that with a lot of kids with autism. They'll either avoid children altogether or they'll avoid adults or new adults. My son has a really, really good relationship with his siblings. So that's an amazing thing that I get to see them, just be good to one another. Like, I just love that. Yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and end this video on that note. But what I can say once again is, if you see anything, if you notice anything, get help. Don't let them tell you that it's something or that it's nothing. You make them evaluate your child, because you're their voice. And that is all. You're their voice. You're looking out for them. You want them to be able to live the best life that they can live. And I'm so happy that finally I'm going to be getting help for my child. Because for years, he's been blown off. They're like, oh, he's smart. Oh, this, that, and the third. He's doing this. He's doing that. Oh, no, he doesn't need help. Blah, blah, blah. And now he's about to be 5. And they're just, oh, yeah, okay, well, let's just give him a little bit of help. Because he's kind of socially awkward now. And, oh, he's still not talking. Yeah, we could have been working on this. But no one wanted to listen to me. I'm just his mom. Whatever. Thank God, though. I'm thanking God because now he'll have therapy 3 times a week here. He can go to the center, and actually the center that he will be going to, they have transportation to where they'll be picking him up and bringing him back to me. But that's not going to be for a while, because I don't know these people. So I'm not sending my kid nowhere until I'm comfortable with them, because unfortunately at the center, parents are a distraction. There's other kids with autism there, so luckily he won't be by himself, but we're a distraction, so they ask that we not come, and they will pick up and drop off. I would do the pickup and dropping off, but I have other kids, and I don't want to have to be picking up and dropping off with a bunch of little babies. So this is going to be his first time being able to have some type of independence. Even though he's almost 5, they say that it's good for them to start doing things like that. So it'll be like a field trip kind of thing. And it's crazy because he did go on one field trip to Sesame Street Live, and his teacher said he did amazing. He was like the best kid. So he actually does kind of like to have some type of freedom. Like I said, he's very mature for his age. So yeah, he'll be having that 3 times a week. And he does go to school. He goes to school from Monday through Friday, 8 in the morning to 3 in the afternoon. So at 4:30, Mondays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays, he's going to have therapy. It's called ABA therapy. Yeah. So I'm going to let you guys know how that goes. Please stay tuned. Follow his journey. Follow my journey with him. I have some other journeys I'm doing as well, but this one is the most important one. My other one is like losing my baby weight, things like that. My son's about to be 4 weeks old. Now I want to lose my baby weight. But that's important for me physically. You know, I want to feel my best. I want to look my best. But this journey here with my child, my son, is the most important journey. So I'm definitely going to be updating. Definitely going to have, maybe I'll even have him, you know, sometimes in one of the videos or in a few of the videos, so you guys can see some of his behaviors. And if he can help you realize that your child needs help, then I'm all for it. So yeah, I'll probably be posting some videos with him in it, in them, and I'll always be updating more information that I'm learning as we progress through this journey. So once again, I'm sorry this video got a little longer than I expected for it to get, but I tried to give as much information as I had. I know it's kind of like I'm rambling. I didn't write down a list. I just kind of wanted to speak from the heart and inform from the heart. So once again, thank you for watching. As always, I appreciate the support. Like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell so you'll get notified of future content. Thank you, as always.